Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing this morning here? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How are you all? I hope you're all doing well. Happy Thursday. It is Thursday, the 29th of May, 2025 at 8 a.m. UK time here. We are dual streaming on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Another good morning show here. Whew. We are almost there, guys. The weekend is almost there. It's in our sights. We've passed the hump. That is the Wednesday. The weekend is coming close, guys. So just gotta get through a little bit more before you get to that weekend, guys. We will get there. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. How are you doing this morning? Hope you are doing well. And Mad Monk 33 there in the chat, and anybody else who may be looking in the chats. Hope you guys are all doing well. We'll have a look at some of the news that's been going about in the UK media, what they're talking about, what their headlines are essentially this morning. But before we do that, we have a couple of things. First and foremost, what's the weather like where you are today, Regan? Well, interestingly enough, I did say earlier in the week that it would get more. I did say in the last live streams that it would get more warmer. So at the moment today, it is 15 degrees this morning at 8 a.m. here in London. Believe it or surprisingly enough, it is very cloudy, and I'm literally I'm looking looking outside right now, and yeah, it is cloudy. And it's going to be cloudy pretty much all day. No sunshine. There's no rain expected. Expected to be cloudy all day. So it's 15 degrees now, but interestingly enough, temperatures are expected to rise as high as 22 degrees here. So even though it's cloudy, it's going to get warm. So just on that part, and it's actually going to get even warmer tomorrow as well. It's expected to be as high as 24 degrees tomorrow as well. I don't like it when it gets too warm personally, but that is the weather report where I am. Let me know what the weather's going to be like where you are today. So that is the weather. Let's have a look. What is today's daily calendar quote, guys? And as I always say, if you want to know what it is and I don't do a live stream, make sure that you check out and follow me on my social medias to find out what is the daily calendar quote, or you can join our Discord community. Check under the daily calendar quote there, and you'll see which one drops every single day. 12 degrees and pissing down basically in Glasgow. Oh, sorry to hear that, Mad Monk. Sorry to hear that. So what is today's quote of the day for the 29th of May? This one is by William Faulkner. That says, "You cannot swim for new horizons until you have courage to lose sight of the shore." So yes, apparently you cannot swim for new horizons until you had the courage to lose sight of the shore. Very interesting one there. Interesting one there by William. That's a very interesting quote there. And tomorrow's one is, well, you'll have to wait till tomorrow for that one. Sorry. I always got to do that for you guys. If you want to see tomorrow's quote, join me tomorrow morning, Friday, 8 a.m. for the next calendar quote there, guys, if you want to know what that one is. So before we talk about some of the news, I want to tell you more about the holiday that I was on last week, as I said to you guys. So I told you guys about Durham Park by the National Trust that I visited with family there, and then the day before we went to Brecon Beacon, where we did pretty much did a lot of walking there. It's absolutely beautiful mountain there, and we reached the top of Penderfay there. The following day is actually, I've split it in two because we did actually quite a lot on the Wednesday for that day. And the first I want to talk about is the town of Abbey Scalesworth. I hope I said that. Am I saying it right? I hope I'm saying the name right. Abbey Galesworth. Am I saying that name right? Abbey Galesworth, which is a Welsh town. It is a university and seaside town and community in Caledon, Wales. It is the largest town in Caledon and 16 miles, 26 kilometres from Aberdyrum, the country's other administrative centre. In 2021, the population of the town is, according to the Wikipedia, is 14,640. Here's a fun fact for you that I did not know until I we visited with the family. Did you know you can actually get here without needing a car, guys? No, it's absolutely true. Apparently, and I actually looked this up, you can actually get a train from Birmingham to Abbey Galsworth from Birmingham, apparently, and takes you all the way to this beautiful seaside town. So in theory, because me and my partner don't drive, we could have gone to this town ourselves and seen it for ourselves. And I have to say, guys, I am tempted to go back here again. And normally I don't like going back to the same place twice. But this is something that I'm generally considering me and my partner doing. Because there's quite a few things in the town. It's not just obviously the seaside town. One of the things that they have there, which is they have this lovely railroad cart that takes you up to the takes you up to the hilltops as well. That gives you that picture there that you can see on your screens there. Beautiful picture there, and we'll have a look at some of the pictures in a moment. But let me read some more of this some of Abbey Scalesworth history for you guys. So located in the historic town of Cardiganshire, Abbey Scalesworth means the mouth of the Yaisworth. Again, if I mispronounce words, which I am going to do, I apologise. A good evening, Stephen McMahon. Hope you are doing well there. It has been a major educational location in Wales since the establishment of University College Wales, now Abbey Scalesworth University, in 1872. The town is situated on Callaghan Bay on the west coast of Wales, near the confluence of the River Wysith and the Alafon River. Following the reconstruction of the harbour, the Wylam skirts the town. The Retterall passes through the town. The seafront with a pier stretches the Constitution Hill at the north end of the promenade to the harbour at the south. The beach is divided by the castle. The town is divided into 5 areas: Abbey Scalesworth, Labradon Far, Waltham Far, Telfy-Chan, and Penparku. I hope I said that right. So, here's some of the main features of the town. It is a university town and a tourist destination, and forms of cultural links between North and South Wales. Constitution Hill scaled by Abbey Scalesworth Cliff Railway, which is we did the Cliff Railway. Absolutely, it was pretty cool, very cool. You can walk up as well. You can walk up to the hill. You don't have to take the railway if you don't want to, because obviously it's only open for a certain time and then shuts at a certain time as well. I can't remember how much we paid for it, but it wasn't that much at all, to be fair. That it is the slowest thing you will ever be on. That is for sure. Gives access to panoramic views to other attractions at the summit, including a camera obscuria, scenic Mid Wales landscape with very easy reach of the town, including the wilderness of Cambrian Mountains, whose valleys contain forests and meadows which have changed little in centuries. A convenient way to access the interior is to preserve a narrow gauge valley of Reganelite Railway there. Ooh, I have not seen that. That's very interesting there. And the Cambrian Mountains there as well. I will just say, obviously, in terms of the hillside. So we walked from there to another little beach. Me and my partner, we walked to another little beach called Oh, I need to check. I can't remember what the name of the little beachhead was, but we walked from one of the sides to the other to this little town. Well, it's not even a town. It's not even a village. Oh, it's more like a little holiday, like resorted area, one of those caravan places. Really, doesn't really have a lot of things, but they had a really nice beach there. I just wish I knew the name of it, but it was absolutely a lovely walk along the hillsides there. There's the seafront walk is really nice along the cliffs as you go along across there, and there's a lot more there than we know. And to be fair, we were only there for about half the day before we had to travel to our next destination, which I will share with you guys tomorrow. But it is quite Aberystwyth is how you say it. Aberystwyth. Aberystwyth, I think I'm saying it right. But it is definitely a great place to visit, that's for sure. Although the town is relatively modern, there are a number of historic buildings, including the remains of a castle and the old college and Abbey Scalesworth University. Now, I have not seen the castle, so I need to see where the castle is. We didn't see that. the Old College and Abigailsworth University nearby. The Old College was originally built and opened in 1865 as a hotel, but after the owner's bankruptcy, the shell of the building was sold to the university in 1867. The main university campus overlooks Abigailsworth from Pennines Hills to the east of the town centre. And the station, a terminus of the main railway, was built in 1924 in the typical style of the period, mainly in the mix of Gothic, Classical Revival and Victorian agriculture. The town is the unofficial capital of Mid Wales, and several institutions have regional or national offices there. Public bodies located in the town include the National Library of Wales, which incorporated National Screen and Sound Archives of Wales, one of the 6 British regional film archives, the Royal Commission of the Ancient and Historical Monument of Wales. That's the building there. It maintains and cultivates the National Monument Record of Wales, that's the NMRW, providing the public with information about the built heritage of Wales. Abigailsworth is also the home to the National Office of the UCAC, that's the Trade Union of Teachers and Lecturers in Wales. The Welsh Language Society, which I'm not going to pronounce the name because I'm going to botch it, but you can try and pronounce it yourself. And the site of the Institute of Grassland and Environmental Research, the Welsh Book Council, and the offices of the Standard Historical Dictionary of Welsh. Glandir Presogol Clymru, a purpose-built Welsh Government office, is in the adjoining office of the Caergolion County Council and also located in the town. So they have a lot of things here, guys. Abigailsworth experiences an oceanic climate similar to almost all of the United Kingdom in terms of climate there as well, and some other interesting stuff. It's very fascinating history of it, that is for sure. So here are some photos for those who haven't seen Abigailsworth here. Here's a wonderful shot here from high above. You can see of the coastline. There's a really gorgeous one there. On a really nice day here, they got these beautiful, colourful homes right on the front of the pier there, which is absolutely really, really cool there as well. Another shot there. I don't know if that's probably that's on the other side. That's on the other side, the hillside there. So that's where the castle is. Yeah, so probably me and my partner will probably need to come and visit just to check out the castle in of itself there. But yeah, this is the side that you go up on the railway, which I mentioned, and we got plenty of photos, obviously, of course, up at the top there that you pretty much oversees the town. Which is pretty awesome from there. Just seeing, yeah, and there's another stunning view shot there. You can see of the beachhead there. Just seeing if we've seen other shots here. This is the castle here from this side. Another picture here, the Castle of Wales from their website as well. They're very fascinating to see there. So yeah, I haven't seen the castle, so that is something that is a reason for me and my partner to go back there. Probably, I'm not sure how many days we would do out there. We'd have to have a think about it. Probably 2 or 3 days, maybe 2 days stay, probably, like stay over, stay 1 or 2 days stay over, like one traveling there and then probably 1 full day there and then travel home the next day, something like that. Maybe, I don't know if that's enough for us to do what we want in the town, or if we need to do an extra day there. But yeah, absolutely, Abigailsworth was lovely, and it's kind of a shame that we only spent half a day there, considering, because we had so many other stuff to do as well, guys. That's the other thing on that. Good morning, Alex Adams. Hope you are doing well there. Seen a cracking display of shoaling starklings there with Pergolin falcons swooping into them, and found them a 5 under the old pier many moons ago, says Billy. Sure. So you've been there, so it's absolutely lovely there. Everyone's saying good morning. Oh, thank you so much, Steve. Thank you so much for the two New Zealand dollars, my friend. And for some reason, it's not clicking on the phone for some silly reason. Thank you for the two New Zealand dollars. I hope you're having a great Thursday, my friend. I really hope you are. So let's much appreciated. So let's talk. Let's move away from that. If you want to find out where I went next, check out. Come and join me tomorrow for tomorrow's good morning. And if you've been on Discord, you kind of know where I've been because I've already shared videos of it already. But if I have time, what I might do is try and get them up for you guys here on the live stream and just kind of show you a little bit as well. If I get time. No promises though, but I do plan. I just want to also point out as well, I plan on putting a lot of photos, a lot of videos from the holiday in Wales will be coming. Oh, it's getting really, really laggy for some reason. That's very, very weird. Are going to be being put up exclusively on Patreon for paid members. So if you want to, another way, if you want to financially support me, you can join the Patreon. That content will be dropping daily on the platform when it comes around to it. It probably won't be coming up until, I'm just looking at my notes here, probably just a couple of days into June is when I'll start posting holidays from Wales on to Patreon. And so if you guys want to check out some of those photos and videos from my time there, I will be posting them exclusively for paid members. Do check that out. And there is obviously other holidays and stuff to share with you guys that you can check out there under patreon.com/Reganelite as well if you guys are interested in seeing more of that kind of stuff. So let's have a talk about some of the news that's happening, specifically in the UK. Why is my screen getting so... I don't know why, but the screens are getting blurry. It's probably because of all the adverts, that's why. So from The Guardian, The Guardian here, this story, they've got the Health Secretary has urged no strikes as the ballot of UK junior doctors begins. The Patient Association fears a winter of delays as West Streeting calls for a no vote from resident doctors who argue that pay has fallen 23% in real terms since 2008, which is absolutely true. And I'll show you guys from here. It's absolutely true that real terms pay has fallen since 2008. However, there's this two different sides to this that you have, right? Because there's a part of me that's like, there is a part of me that understands that the government is trying to look after its budgets and within its means sort of thing. The problem is it's very hard for me to accept that premise from the government when they are throwing so much cash at defence, for example, and also cutting foreign aid. At the moment, they're still planning to cut personal independent payments to make it difficult for people to get to apply for that stuff as well. So it's very hard for me to support the government on these positions when they say they have no money and yet they continue to take money from the most difficult and poorest in society, which is what they look like they're doing. Good morning, Ange, and good morning, Mifril. Hope you guys are both doing well this morning. So just have a quick nose into this one, guys. So the Health Secretary, West Streeting, has urged doctors to vote against the industrial action, not as the British Medical Association ballot residents doctors, formerly known as junior doctors, for strike action that could last for 6 months. So writing in the Times today, Streeting said, "We can't afford to return to a continuous cycle of standoff strikes and cancellations. Strikes should always be a last resort, and I don't think they are in anyone's interest today." He's right. They should only be a last resort. I do agree with that premise. However, he needs to put himself, as I always say on my channel, putting yourself in the shoes of other people and understand that these doctors have not had a proper pay rise since 2008. Real terms pay rise, okay? They have been shafted by the Conservatives for 14 years. And I understand that you're trying to tighten up belts and all this kind of stuff, but you need to find a compromise. You need to find a compromise where the government are actually going to bring that same level of pay back. Now, I can understand the government doesn't want to completely meet that threshold, but come up with a plan, sit down with the unions and say, okay, this is how we're going to get you back to those numbers back to the numbers of where you guys were supposed to be getting before. Come up with a plan and come up with a plan of how to do it. Maybe at least try to meet them halfway now, and plan to bring them even closer to do so. Like, don't play with the doctors on pay, but do something with that. So resident doctors said their pay had declined by 23% in real terms since 2008. This is true. If they choose to go on strike, walkouts could begin in July and potentially last until January 2026. The government accepted salary recommendations from the pay body reviews bodies earlier this month. Let's be very clear about pay review bodies. They're always under the thumb to a certain extent by governments to us on that. So, Payson Association said it was deeply concerned about the prospect of strike action over the busy winter period in the NHS. Previous strike action from doctors has led to 1.3 million appointments, procurements, and operations being postponed, it said, with a true figure likely to be much higher. And yeah, it will be much higher in doing so as well. Will they strike? I don't know, is my honest answer. But I generally like this is the thing. Like I am in support of the work. I always said when the pays was sorted, right, when the government come in and dealt with the strikes, yeah, like they gave a massive boost to them because they knew they needed to. But it's asking for that real terms pay increase since 2008. That's a huge amount of money the government needs to cough up. And the thing is that from the government's perspective is right. Once they do this for them, they know they'll have to do this for everyone else, for other workforces as well. So it means even more money. So that's from their point of view. I'm not saying it's not right that doctors shouldn't be fighting for this, because I 100% agree they should be fighting for this. But it's just it's frustrating because it's like, well, where do you get the money from? Well, we already know where money is, where all the money is right now. It's with the wealthiest in society. No one in the NHS has had a decent pay rise after all these years. We got shafted over and over. Absolutely, Alex Adams. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's frustrating. What frustrates me the most is when this government is looking to cut personal independent payments to people and then increase the defence budget, cutting back foreign aid. And it's just like, what are you doing? It's very, very frustrating. It is very, very frustrating. So, if they just strike, I will. If they choose to strike, I will support them. But at the end of the day, they've got to fight for their rights, for better pay, because this cost of living crisis has not gone away. So another story we'll look at for a bit. Russian-linked hackers posing as journalists targeting the Ministry of Defence, government says. So the British military is boosting its own defence capabilities to conduct cyber attacks against hostile states like Russia. So details of the foiled hacked emerged. Defence Secretary John Henley said the UK military is bolstering its own offensive capabilities to conduct cyber attacks against hostile states like Russia as part of a long-awaited review of UK defence. The Strategic Defence Review is expected to be published on Monday. It was launched by Sir Keir Starmer last July and comes ahead of a major summit of NATO allies in June. The nature of warfare is changing, Mr. Henley told a group of journalists on a visit to a secure facility in Wiltshire where the defence team that defeated the Russian cyber attack is located. The keyboard is now a weapon of war, and we are responding to that. Yeah, but we need to have more and more increasing our security and whatnot online more than ever before, not just from Russia but even from China, because the iPaper has covered extensively over time about the times that Chinese hackers as well have been coming at us as well, not just Russian as well. Part of this response announced on Thursday includes the creation of a new cyber command to oversee offensive and defensive cyber operations. Sounds like very much PR, like the same PR about the border security command thing. It's just to make it sound a bit more humph, give it a bit more humph to it, make the government sound more tough, sort of thing. The government also plans to invest more than £1 billion on improving its ability to hunt, locate and strike targets on the battlefield, drawing on digital technology. And in future conflicts, those that prevail will be those who are not just better equipped and better trained, but also better connected and also capable of innovating ahead of adversaries, Defence Secretary has said. The faulted Russia-linked hacks was one of more than 90,000 cyber attacks associated with the hostile state that were directly against the UK military and other parts of the defence over the past 2 years. A doubling from the previous 2 years, the Ministry of Defence has said. Part of the increase is because the military is getting better at spotting the attempts against its networks. However, it is understood that the attacks have become more sophisticated, making them harder to combat. And last year, the National Cybersecurity Centre, which is part of the GCHQ, alerted the Ministry of Defence to a suspect spirited campaign. And the Global Operations Security Control Centre, the MOD Corsham in Wiltshire, which defends the Ministry Defence networks in the UK and overseas, was tasked with identifying this threat. So obviously more, you know, a lot of these kind of attacks and whatnot, there's a lot more that actually happens than we don't know, because most of the things are public and need to know basis. So it is always a case of we don't always know everything that's going on, but it is certainly, obviously, we are grateful that the defence for them to protect software and whatnot from threats. At some stage, you have to address it regardless of the cost. Stephen Warren was referring to the NHS pay. Yep, absolutely. And Mammoth33 says, I was earning more money in 1999 than I am now. I was admin for a cable TV company, so yes, wages were stagnating or worse these days. Yep, absolutely. Steve, again, thank you so much for the... Why will it not let me click the like? It will not let me click the like button on my phone today. I just don't know why. I do apologise. Are we still live? Oh, it said, yeah, apparently I wasn't receiving enough bandwidth for some weird reason. That's a bit odd. That's annoying. Don't say things like that. You're worrying me there for a second. What are you guys saying? What they need to do is to stop lying to us, says Sean. Parties in lockdown. Yes, Sean, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Yeah, they need to stop doing that as well. We'll look at one more story before we go to, well, maybe a couple more stories, actually, to be fair. BBC has more than £1 billion earmarked for battlefield tech. This is kind of similar to the other one there. The Ministry of Defence will spend more than £1 billion to develop technology to speed up decisions on the battlefield. The funding will be one of the results of the government's long-awaited strategic defence review, which is due to be published in full on Monday. So it's essentially more of just another way of talking about the defence capabilities and the improvements that's going to be coming from that there. So the BBC on that story as well. The iPaper has, I've got a story from the iPaper with ministers edging closer to scrapping the two-child benefit cap. Government's also suggested ministers were moving towards abandoning the cap entirely, but the final decision has not yet been agreed. Well, Reform UK have jumped on the bandwagon of getting rid of it, even though that it's not. They don't really want to get rid of it. Remember, they're only telling you what they want you. They're only telling you what they want you to know. Whatever they think that can win them over more voters. And if you consider yourself someone on the left, you'd be a fool to vote for Nigel Farage's party. Government's also suggested that, we already said that. I already said that. So the government is poised to backtrack on their refusal to scrap the two-child benefit limit. Sources have suggested. So ministers are edging closer to ditching the two-child cap, which is unpopular among Labour MPs, although it has not yet been decided whether there will be a watering-down version of the policy to replace it. The NA Cabinet Minister on Tuesday gave the strongest hint yet that Keir Starmer was open to scrapping the benefit limit altogether. Government also suggested ministers were moving towards scrapping the cap entirely, but a final decision has not yet been agreed. And it could still be replaced with another, less stringent mechanism. The Education Secretary, Bridget Phillipson, who is leading the government's Child Poverty Task Force alongside the Work and Pension Secretary, Liz Kendall, confirmed on Tuesday that the government was looking at removing the limit. She said that we're looking at it as part of a task force. As I said, nothing is off the table, but nothing is straightforward. The costs are high. She later told Radio 4 that she had conversations with those who had been campaigning for a policy change and added, what I've said to them is what we will hear them. The Prime Minister's official spokesperson said on Tuesday the government is absolutely committed to tackling child poverty and said that the Ministerial Task Force is considering all available levers to give every child the best start of life. Well, if they're serious about giving children the best start of life, getting rid of the two-child benefit cap is a good start towards it. It really infuriates me, people who tried to defend the two-child benefit cap, saying it will open the floodgates of more people basically going into poverty. And Nigel Farage's interesting argument, as we've seen from his speech a few days ago, his argument on this is like, we need to increase the birth rate. We need to increase the birth rate, and this is one of our ways to do it. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that more people will have babies as a result of removing the two-child benefit cap. There's been a number of think tanks and studies that have concluded that by removing the two-child benefit cap, you actually lift more children out of poverty as a direct result of removing the 2-child benefit cap. That's the main crux of it. For me, yes, the decline in birth rate is an issue. Yes, I do agree with that. But the getting more children out of poverty and into some kind of sustainable life or working life of some sorts, that should be the ultimate main goal that we should be trying to aim towards there. The last story I have a quick look at before we go to the rest of the papers and see what they are saying. Early prisoner release will make the UK less safe without extra cash. Police chief and MI5 have warned the intervention will pile pressure on Rachel Reeves and pour money into policing at the spending review. So plans to release violent criminals, including sex offenders, from prisons early will make Britons less safe without more funding. The head of the Metropolitan Police, MI5 and National Crime Agency has warned. The senior police and security chiefs have publicly called on ministers to provide serious investment at next month's spending review, piling pressure on Rachel Reeves to rethink her strict borrowing costs. In a joint letter to the Ministry of Justice seen by the Times, they argue that without necessary resources, the decision to release more people early could be the net detriment to public safety. Now, my argument that I've always said about the release of letting out people early is that if people have committed there are certain crimes where they do not need to be in prison for. The protesting is the obvious one. Like, just put them on community service. You don't need to. They're already taking up space there. There are. I do think that if repeated offences, obviously, should face prison time, but there are some actions where you can we can get them doing community service instead. We should be looking at some of the least offences, some of the minor offences, and looking at ways that we can actually get them out of the prisons and actually make them work, for their make them put their time to actual use rather than locking them up. Put them in make them do community work instead. I always just feel like the solution is reduction in some of the, because some crimes and some things they do not need to be in prison for. Now, of course, violence, assault, sexual murder, sexual rape, murder, those kind of things. Obviously, of course, prison. Of course, there's absolutely no question. I do even think that theft, to a certain extent, there should still be jail time for them. But I would say it depends. It would depend on what the crime is, about whether or not they should be in it. I mean, letting out so-called murderers, convicted rapists, or whatnot early, it's not something I'm comfortable with in any way, shape, or form, and I don't think any of you guys would be comfortable with it either. But I also understand the situation with regards to the prison situation, because we just don't have enough prisons, and they're really overcrowded right now. So this is the crisis that we're facing. And while they're always talking about building more prisons, the problem is that where you build the prisons, where you get approval for them, nobody wants prisons built near them anyway. So it's a very frustrating thing, to say the least. I mean, personally, I think we should have it built out. I mean, it'll cost more, but I would personally put them out on a oil rig or something, out there, out in the ocean. But the problem is it costs more to do something like that than to build a regular prison on the mainland itself, really, if I'm honest. Coppers will always want more money for their toys, Reganelite. That is true. That is 100% true, Mithril. Martin, thank you so much for the 2 CHF there. Much appreciated. Just 2 more super chats to reach our goal this morning. Much appreciated. Thank you for your support. And to you, Steve, this morning. Much appreciated. Bovevio looks up in our milk, says Sean. Censorship is on YouTube. That's censorship is on YouTube. That to me is the end of free speech. We're not completely there. We're not there on YouTube there. On there. On the bus now, so earphones to listen the rest of the way home. Well, safe travels, Alex. Safe travels home, Alex, in all seriousness, my friend. Sean says a victimless crimes should be treated more leniency. Yep. Victimless crimes, yeah. Victimless crimes definitely should be there. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Right, let's come out of this and let's have a look at some of the headlines that some of the news is talking about here. So let's start with the Guardian. Let me just switch my cameras around because I need to play about with the cameras. So the front of UK politics on the Guardian says, Lord's watchdog investigates Tory peer over erroneous travel claims. Earl of Shrewsbury is the 5th peer to face an inquiry after the Guardian reported into the upper house here. This is their front page of them. They say the House of Lords watchdogs launched an investigation into Conservative hierarchy peer who admitted he erroneously made claims last year for travel expenses he did not incur. He is the 5th peer to face an inquiry after the Guardian reporting into the upper house. The Earl of Shrewsbury is being examined for a potential breach of rules after revelations he received reimbursement for mileage for 4 journeys between his home in Derbyshire and Stafford Station, which he cannot have made as he was either in Liverpool or London. Why can't these people pay out of their own pocket? It's so infuriating. I hate it. Sorry, I just hate that these people who have stacks and stacks of money, some of these people have so much money, and they just keep claiming money out, taxpayer money. It's just so infuriating, guys. It really, really is. Sorry. Steve McMahon and Mad Monk 33, thank you both for your super chats. For $2 New Zealand from Steve McMahon and a £2 super chat from Mad Monk 33 for helping reach this morning's goal. Thank you guys so much for your support. Greatly appreciated. Thank you guys all for being here as well. Thanks for those, guys. Really appreciate it. Also from The Guardian, job centres will no longer force people into any jobs available, Minister says. That's good. Alistair McGovern promises long-term career support in the wake of Labour's significant cuts to disability benefits. Job centres will no longer force people into any job available, the Employment Minister has said, promising there will be long-term personalised career support into those losing out due to welfare cuts. Alistair McGovern said she was ending the Conservative policy under which job seekers were obliged to take any low-paid, insecure work, that the service would now be focused on helping build rewarding careers. This is massive. This is a massive thing. I'm very happy to hear about this, because we need to stop forcing people against their will into jobs that they don't want to do. And like they said, we want people who have aspirations for certain careers and whatnot to be able to pursue them. And they can't do that if they're stuck in some low-paid job that they're not happy about. McGovern, who is tasked with a major overhaul to employment support as a result of significant cuts to disability benefits, said the department would use AI to free up a workload of job coaches, give them more time to provide human support to those with complex needs and long-term unemployment. The government is facing those from a roll of Labour MPs over the proposed cuts. Yeah, but this gives me great optimism. This gives me great optimism here. I'm very happy with this. Yeah, no one should be forced into jobs against their will. It's literally slave labour. I mean, I just don't know how much more we need to add to that. It's literally slave labour there. Health Secretary urges no strikes on ballots of UK junior doctors begin. We've already talked about that. Starmer to say reforms spending plans would cause a Liz Truss-style meltdown. That is true. Trump said he warned Israel against attack on Iran as nuclear deal was very close. How is that a UK politics story? Answers on a postcard, please. Police were consulted over early prison release scheme, says Ministry of Justice. And I've got a bunch of opinion pieces there. Let's have a quick look at the front of UK. Front of UK latest news. US firms that test eligibility for UK disability benefits pays £10 million in dividends. What? British arms of Maxis, which provides DWP assessments, reports a 23% rise in pre-tax profits in its annual figures here. The British arm of a US contractor that profits from testing whenever some people in the UK should receive disability benefits has paid £10 million in dividends to its investors. Maximus, a Virginia-based business, reported a 23% rise in pre-tax profit for its UK's arm, from 23.6 million to 29.1 million in its financial year to the end of September. Accounts lodged to the company's house shows its revenue rose 2% from 294 million to 300 million. I don't know what to say to that. Low Thames Crossing could triple tolls at Dartford. Campaigners say, you triple the toll. Oh my God, it's bad enough for people who have to use the Dartford Tunnel. Oh dear. National Trust celebrates 60 years of coastal project enterprise Neptune. Way! God bless the National Trust. Campaigners have raised more than 114 million since 1965 to protect sites such as Wembley Port in Devon. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome there. 60 years. I don't go enough to National Trust places there. That's why I'm not a member, guys. It's the only reason why I'm not a National Trust member. And some of the other stories we've already mentioned there. So that is from The Guardian. I just realised we've only got 20 minutes already. I'm running through these quite fast already, guys. Not Joe Lefty. Ginger Lefty, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well there. How much does he get now? Who's that? How much does he actually get now? Hold on a sec. Are you talking about the Lord Peer? Does it say how much he earns? Let me have a quick nose. Shrewsbury being the subject of 2 inquiries by the watchdog, including one of his ludicrous relationships with his healthcare firm that paid him £57,000 over 2 years lobbies to maintain an official. Does it say how much he's getting paid? Just out of curiosity. Having a look. It does not say. So I cannot answer that, I'm afraid. Apologies, Martin. Can't answer that. Juicy DWP contract sees read in partnership, says Billy Kershaw. Right, let's run into these guys. We've got 19 minutes to go. Sky News here. Farage's fantasy policies will lead to trust star economics meltdown. Starmer is to warm. She's a gunner. Dominic Cummings predicts timing of Kemi Baganott's downfall. I am going to listen to this later on, the full interview Dominic Cummings had with Sky News, because we played 1 or 2 clips from it last night on the Snowflake Watch live stream. I do recommend listening to it. I know, excuse me, I know it's Dominic Cummings, guys. I know it's Dominic Cummings, but I do think it's worth listening into. Absolute game changer if Cummings gets behind Farage. Yep, that would be. It would certainly help Nigel Farage significantly. But whether he will or not is another thing. Exclusive reveals that celebrities are joining figures urging the Prime Minister to end UK complicity in Gaza. Yep. I've got this as a story, so I'm not going to talk about it. I've got a video of this dropping, so you can give your responses to the video when I drop it. Some cannabis possessions could be decriminalised, says Sadiq Khan. I believe that video will be dropping tomorrow on the channel, so do check that out. If you check that out tomorrow, if you guys are interested in that, on there from Sky News. Let's go to the British Broadcasting Corporation. It's BBC for those who don't know that. I was asking for support for donations. Oh, what's that for, Martin? Sorry. What's the support for, my friend? Sorry, I've missed it. Was it for a charity of some sorts? Sorry. Oh, you're asking about super chats and how much does YouTube cuts take from it? Yeah, YouTube takes about 30% of YouTube does take I will say this, guys, like if you want to give like a bigger cut, like here's the thing, guys, I really do mean this. Patreon takes much less money than YouTube when it comes to support. So if you want me to get a bigger percentage of bigger percentage, do consider joining the Patreon. And I will get a much more significant cut from any donations and whatnot. You could also buy me a coffee as well. There's a link for buy me a coffee as well as another option there, guys. If you want to do it outside of YouTube, there are options down in the description below. If you want to donate and support me outside of YouTube, you're more than welcome to do so, guys. I just want to put that out there as well. But with the reason why I say it's with Patreon is not only are you I'm getting more of the percentage cut in doing so, guys, but I'm also giving you guys content as a member as well. If you join Patreon, you actually get content for being a member. So you're not only getting free content on Rumble and Patreon, because you do get free content if you're a supporter there, but if you're a paid member, you get even more, which I mentioned earlier there. So if you want to support me on Patreon, you're more than welcome to do so there, but you do get something back for that as well. Just for reference. Kate Smith, good morning. Hope you are doing well there. Anybody else looking in chat? Alistair Keir, good to see you there this morning as well. Hope you are doing well as well, buddy. Right, let's carry on, because I've got to keep an eye on the time. So the BBC have got the Conservative Party faces problems. Its leader is one of them. Yep, Kemi is a gunner. It's just a matter of when, not if. Starmer is to liken Farage to Trump to trust in policy attacks. Yeah, that makes sense. Met Chief warns anti-crime pledges need funding. Yeah, everything needs funding. That doesn't surprise me that at all. The government is to fast-track 2 new reservoirs to shore up water supply, apparently, there. Interesting story there. Planning change to make installation for heat pumps easier for millions. Let me just have a quick... Let's have a quick gander of this. Let's have a quick look. So, two new major reservoir projects have been fast-tracked in a bid to shore up England's water supply, the government's announced. The projects in East Anglia and South Lincolnshire have been declared nationally significant, allowing us to speed through the planning process. But overriding local objections can be unpopular, and the reservoirs could still be more than decades away from opening. Household consumption of water may also need to fall to secure supplies amid rising temperatures and growing population, scientists warns. The announcement means that the final decisions about Fens Reservoir in Cambridgeshire and Lincolnshire Reservoir will be taken by Environment Secretary Steve Reeve rather than at a local level. These changes amount to slashing red tape to make planning process faster to secure our water supply for the future generations, according to Water Minister Emma Hardy. Difficult decisions there. Planning changes make installing heat pump easier. How about incentivizing, making them cheaper? That would be a good idea as well. A key planning restriction that heat pumps need to be 1 metre from a neighbour's property has been lifted as the government seeks to accelerate the take of low carbon technology. Changes which is part of the government's warm homes plan to lower household bills and cut warming emissions means it could be easier for millions of homes in England to have a heat pump installed. But consumer groups warn that the changes will not help those in rented or leasehold properties. And the biggest barrier to installing heat pumps remains the high upfront cost. This is a particular problem for older housing stocks where upgrades to pipework and installation may be required. Well, anything that will help them will be a good thing there as well. Mayor plans backs reports calls for cannabis law reform. Talked about that already. Well, I haven't talked about it, but it'll be coming up in a video tomorrow if you guys want to check that out. If you're a YouTube member, you can see that now. And speaking of YouTube members, thank you so much, Martin Brisk, for gifting 5 memberships there. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Reservoirs don't have to be bad. With careful management, they can be environmentally positive, says Mithril. Yes, they can be. Yeah, you're absolutely 100% right. Couldn't agree more. He's gifted 5 memberships to Maximilian Robespierre. I wonder who that is. Ange has also been given a membership. How very as well. Matt Parker, Doc Davis, and Anne Phillips have all been gifted memberships there. It's the first time I've seen Robespierre be gifted a membership there, so that's pretty that's pretty awesome. I've never actually been gifted a membership. I don't think I've ever been gifted a membership on his channel, but thank you so much, Martin, for your support. I really appreciate it. Very generous of you. Thank you. Let's see, anything else here? First Minister calls to end the 2-child benefit cap. Senior police raised concerns over early prison release plans, which we already spoke about. Anything on the front of UK that's worth looking at? Reeves outlines plans for £25 billion pension mega fund. UK car production falls sharply in April. Golden Eagle soaring south back to English skies. Hooray! I always like hearing stories like this. This is very good. After years of absence, golden eagles are beginning to venture back into England from the south of Scotland, leading to hopes that they might nest among crossing the borders in 2025 as a young male called Talia. Very good. That's wonderful news. I always like hearing stories like that. That gives me great optimism, guys. Great optimism. Let's truck on here and let's have a look at what the iPaper has got for us here in their politics section. Britain will face Mediterranean-style water rationing without new reservoirs. So that's kind of similar to the other reservoir story we just looked at from the BBC there. Pension mega funds to boost average savers pots by £6,000, the Chancellor Rachel Reeves is claiming. The areas where new reservoirs will be built confirmed. Yeah, that's probably the ones we just looked at anyway there. Exclusive from them that Labour considers a crackdown on big pharmaceutical payments to NHS doctors there as well. And natural cannabis should be decriminalised. I already mentioned that one as well. I will come to those gifted memberships in just a moment. Let me just have a quick look on the front of iPaper as well. Will you be hit by new tax rises? People that Reeves is most likely to hit. Excuse me. The US court blocks Trump's tariff, saying he exceeded presidential authority. Excuse me. Oh, goddamn reflux. Sorry, apologies there. Surging grandparents boosting pension by up to £6,600 was a little known scheme there. So those are some of the stories from the iPaper there. But I need to stop for a quick moment because Alistair Keir has been on the prowl, gifting 10 memberships there. Very generous. First, he gifted first 5 memberships. He has gifted to One Angry Pagan, Martin Harrow, The Witchy Goth, Roger Devine, and Alex Adam there. That's very, very generous. Thank you so much for your support, my friend. And he's also gifted another. Has it been 5? 5 gone through? 5 did go through. Tutorials Don't Get Tasered, Caffel OG, Random Scottish History. We love Jenny. Do follow do subscribe to Jenny's YouTube channel, Random Scottish History. Wonderful stuff, guys. I cannot highly recommend it enough. Can someone put a link to her channel? It'd be greatly appreciated. And John Rory Croft as well. Thank you so much for those gifted memberships, my friend. Very, very generous of you. Some posh idiot would try and shoot the golden eagle. No, don't say such a thing, Mithril. No, 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 no. Wait, no, don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. You ruined it. I don't want to. No, no, no. That's very no. We don't want it. We don't want that to happen. Well, yeah, there's always going to be terrible people like that, I'm afraid. Martin Brisk, thank you again with another 5 gifted memberships. Wow, that's very generous of you. Thank you. Sharon Douglas, Ben Ridgins, Tim Bollum, and Dr. Stu Viking Bear and Andrew Peacock there. Thank you guys so much for the gifted memberships. Wow, that's I've never had so many gifted memberships in one live stream. Guys, that's really, really generous of you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Really, honestly. Right, I don't want to, we want to finish on 9 o'clock, so I do want to cover the rest of the news. So thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it, guys. Right. Free dining and drinks, Walt Disney World. No, I'm good. I do want to do Disney World. It's just so expensive. UK politics, Portuguese Chevacai becomes the main opposition and joins Europe's far-right surge. I don't know too much about the Portuguese election. We'll have to let our friend Jao, who's one of our moderators, have to ask him about that. Probably won't talk about that until next week. Probably there. I don't know why it's under UK politics, but there you go. Have they got anything here we haven't seen? Peter Mandelson criticises fetish for scrapping EU rules. I don't know why he calls it fetish. That's very weird. Junior doctors strikes we talked about already. DWP reveals the 700,000 people who will avoid PIP benefit changes. Boris Johnson's ex-wife urges PM to tackle radical steps to fix Brexit. You can't fix Brexit. You're just trying to misogynistic reform activists depict female ministers as cows. What? Labour intends to condemn the stunt in Hertford as horrific, misogynistic as dehumanising. Reform activists depict female cabinet ministers as cows in Aberystwyth. The roadside step I set up in Hertsmere, Hertfordshire shows Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, Chancellor Rachel Reed, and Education Secretary British Fison depicted as cows wanting to be slaughtered. The stunned pictures, pictured by a pass-by and Pastor the Independent, was damned as dehumanising and misogynistic. Like, what is this? What is this? Like this is just, this is the thing. Like, some people will think this is totally alright. This is not okay. This is not okay here. Yeah, shocked political parties in Westminster and MPs, including Mr. Farage, after having to take extra security measures to protect themselves from potential attacks. The imagery of the slaughterhouse has brought back memories of attacks of MPs, including the death of Labour's Joe Cox and later Tory MP David Ames. I'm so glad I've seen this story. This is shocking. This is absolutely shocking story. Other MPs have been attacked, including Labour Minister Stephen Jones, who was stabbed and danger faces by politicians were underlined last week in homes. Yeah, this kind of shit. This kind of shit is only going to antagonize people. Just give me 1 second, guys. I need to save this story. I need to save that story because yeah, we're not going to have enough time to cover it here. I might cover it as a separate video, but what I'm going to do is I will send it to 1 or 2 YouTubers to cover as well, because that is absolutely disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. Like, what? Like, I know we have our grievances with Labour, but still, there are lines, guys. There are lines. Madison and fetish in the same sentence. Whoops, who'd have believed it, says Ange. Mithril says, I live near the troughs of Boland. Reganelite gamekeepers keep killing our hen harriers for taking goose, so I'm very senile. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's absolutely dreadful. Oh, that really is sad to hear things like that. I'm so sorry that you have to... We hear stories like that. It makes me sick to my stomach with beautiful animals like that. Is there anything else from The Independent we need to look at? I don't think so. Some of these stories are quite old, to be fair. No. Let's go to the Financial Times, guys. There'll be some interesting stuff there. Let's see what the FT has had to say here. So the front page of the Financial Times under UK says the UK must toughen regulation on facial recognition, says AI experts. UK's high-tech warfare operation to be unified defence shake-up. Look, talked about that already. Britain needs to stop fiddling with physical policy. Do reforms, taxes and spending plans add up? FT says no. People have already said that on Twitter. So no, they don't add up according to the Financial Times. Don't even need to click the link. UK confirmed power forces to force pension funds to back British assets. Ministers to look at softening UK welfare state to avert rebellion by Labour MPs. Riding a revolutionary electric ferry to the Isle of Wight. Always bend her physical rules to help balance the books. I think she will have to at some point. Nearly 1 in 3 of UKs have been victims of mobile phone theft. Let me just mention this with mobile phones. Just like I always have zipper pockets. If you have zipper pockets, always use zipper pockets. Always have zipper pockets. Billy will be finishing before we will finish before Graham Hughes starts on Politics Social, my friend. Just so you know. But thanks for popping in nonetheless. I appreciate it. Heathrow chief out during the shutdown. His phone was on silent, says report. What the feck? So the Heathrow chief was not only there, his phone was on silent, so he wasn't even aware of anything going on. Wow. Wow, that says a lot. That says a lot. Right, running out of time. Let's have a quick look at the Times. Government urged to review travel advice to police state Egypt. Yep. NHS and Treasury clash over medicine bill to placate Trump. Councillors face ban on interfering on smaller planning applications. Which departments face the deepest cuts in the spending review? Hamilton descends into a racist battle as Farage questions Sarwar's British values. Tagging criminals will create more work for police, says the Met chief. I've taken all sorts, and we won't legalize cannabis, says Angela Rayner. Member of the boards of deputies of British Jews quits over the Gaza row there as well. And then some stories from yesterday. Job as 007 left Ed Davey unstunged there. So that is some from the Times there. Just speeding up a little bit just because of time, guys. That's all. Daily Telegraph. Britain to unleash army of hackers on Putin. Okay. Put cannabis on par with crack, says police in chief in a rebuke for Khan. Yeah, because that's certainly going to fix things. Andrew Tate charged with rape in the UK. I mentioned that yesterday on the live stream. NHS orders clinics to stop prescribing cross-sex drugs to children. I can't click it, guys, because it's behind a paywall. Reeves betrays farmer again with funding cuts. Bagnot will be ousted this year, predicts Bagnot. Liverpool's parade crash suspect is a company director and a father of 3. The guy who did it was a father of 3? The guy who did it was a freaking dad? Wow. That's so sad. It was already bad enough what this person did, but this guy was a father of 3 children? The scars these kids are going to have, knowing that their father did this. My God. Macron mocks British shove on arrival in Indonesia. Yeah, it's been mentioned already. British man held in Norway over 1.5 million whole of silver coins. Britain's plan to deny Russian control of the Arctic there. And just have a quick nose at the Byline Times before we go. Anything here from the Byline Times? Israel contests detention of Palestinian bodies as attended to silence and traumatized facilities. These are the stories they have on Gaza here. They do have great stuff, Byline Times, and they don't have cookies either, so always worth checking them out, guys. How Russian thinks spiritual became a key weapon in the Kremlin's disinformation toolbox. Matt Hancock and 3 Conservative peers referred 60 suppliers onto PPE COVID VIP lane there as well from Byline Times Always great stuff from them, worth checking out there, guys. But unfortunately for me, we have reached the end of the Good Morning Show. Let's just have a quick one last look at the chat there. Everybody's just a few cases in local sheriffs got fined. And Mad Monk has just put a link to the Patreon as well. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat as well there. Sorry if I didn't see all your comments in the chat, but thank you guys so much for coming along. Just a quick reminder, I'll be live streaming tonight at 8 p.m. covering news from America. So if you guys want to join me for Snowflake on America, covering news that's happening in the United States, you're more than welcome to join me for there. But if not, I'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. for the last Good Morning Show of the week, and I'll be telling you guys about the last place that another place that I went to on holiday in Wales, and this one was a very nice one. Hopefully I can get some photos and videos potentially up for you guys of that as well. But thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys, Alistair, Keir and Martin, for your very, very generous gifted memberships as well, and for all those who gave super chats as well, Steve McMorran and Mad Monk 33. Thank you guys so much for your support. We're greatly appreciated. Enjoy the rest of your days, whatever you guys are planning. Graham Hughes is going live now on Morning Brew and Politics Social, so if you want to go and check out his live stream, feel free to do that. At 10:30 today, Dave McGuinness will be doing the paper review on youtube.com/the two Davies. Check out his paper review as well. They'll also, Dave McGuinness and David Mulligan, the two Davies, will have their show today at 4 p.m. as well. Worth checking out that show as well. So just for some other YouTubers if you guys want to check out as well. But I am done now. So thank you all so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. If you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing, sharing this across social media as well. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.